What are the comments?
And what contingencies are,
Contingencies of the planning commission,
For Silver Creek?
yeah, there were some minor things that they've already corrected related to the conditional use application.
the application itself?
Yeah,
Okay,
conditional
all right.
information. Yeah, that's all.
It's not a big application.
Is this meeting, would that work at 6 o'clock before next month's meeting? No? You anticipate?
This should be
Separate.
scheduled before August 17th.
August 17th, we need a special meeting though too, then.
Have your hearing, yeah.
Well, I mean, Eric, if we could have done it before our next public meeting, I don't think there's enough time. There'd be a lot of interest in it.
So pick a day to just schedule a hearing.
Right, it'd be just stand alone, yeah.
What about 2 weeks? 16th, Monday?
I'm good.
I'll make it work.
That's zoning hearing.
Do we have enough time to advertise?
Yeah, you can get an ad in this week and next week.
Do they have something
Zoning
scheduled,
hearing.
No,
Jared?
this is here, conditional use.
Yeah, but the 16th is zoning hearing.
Zoning hearing board meets on the 16th.
Okay, do you have an alternative space?
Well, we don't, they can move over there and I can stay here.
How many things do they have on, Jack?
Two as of right now. That was the advertisement that we had. It's 2 items.
Big issues or minor?
No, they're mine. They can go over there.
Oh, I'm right there, yeah.
Is anybody on the 23rd?
No, it's too late, she said.
Yeah, do it by the 17th. You could do the 17th.
Yeah, they'll move. You can ask the zoning board to go next door, they'll, this is too minor issue there. More, I love people.
It's fine.
7
So get
o'clock,
an ad in this week and then next week.
August 16th at 7 o'clock. Resolution 134, 2021, consider application 2021-0025 for Dominick Dalbo Plan of Lot Subdivision Plan, location 17 Muse Bishop Road, C2 Convenience Commercial Zoning District, applicant Dominick Dalbo. The Planning Commission recommended approval on July 15, 2021.
This is just another. This is another Dalbo tract. It's located off of Muse Bishop Road. And we're creating a separate lot here, lot number 1. And it has a sanitary sewer easement allowed a public sewer. All of our conditions have been met. The lot complies with the 1.369 acre lot that's being created.
Is this across the street, Dan?
Yeah, it's kind of catty corner from where we are. I mean, this is Dennis Flair's property. It's a little bit further up Muse Bishop Road. You know where that is?
Yeah.
So this is right across the street from there. There's an existing dwelling there, so it's a little bit further up. So the house would be up, located further, a little further past that. Here's the site, Frank, there's a site location map. Here, shows you a little bit further. There's me, you can see down in the corner there where my cursor is. This is 980 right here, this is Muse Bishop Road, so it's just a little bit further up. Right.
What's the intent on placing here, Dan?
There hasn't been any, nothing submitted in the way of any application for the property yet. So we don't know what they want to do with it. All they're doing is subdividing the lot.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 4-0. Resolution 135-2021, consider rescinding the previous approval for the Omega Building Company land development for a self-storage facility and approving the conditional use and site plan as follows. Number 1, receiving written notification for West Penn Power to use their right-of-way. Number 2, applying the notice of the requirement of a state highway occupancy permit for section 504C-25F of the Township UDO to the land development plan.
And so explanation on this, last month the board approved this change to the plan which was previously approved. They're proposing one building, one self-storage building on here. And as I understand the discussion, they talked about using access from South Point Boulevard to come in and build this building. We had been given some information by the property owner, Tom Robinson, and his attorney related to that access off of South Point Boulevard. I provided that information to the township solicitor, and it does appear that Mr. Robinson does have legal access off of that portion of the road. That being said, the township's requirement, and the only thing that we're required to do in terms of policing, is to make sure that there's a note put on the plan that notifies the property owner that if they do need a state highway occupancy permit, it's their requirement to get. So if it sort of takes us out of the picture, so we don't police that. I don't recommend that we get involved in the policing of the state highway occupancy permit because it's not of our interest. It's a third-party permit, and all of our approvals are typically based upon them getting that on their own. So the problem is the way that the recommendation for approval was written last month, it was requiring correspondence from PennDOT saying that we had access. They're never going to give that letter. They've already requested that from them. So this is kind of a battle between the property owner and PennDOT. But I think they're going to let them use it, in my opinion, and probably just turn their head because they don't really have the footing to stand on not to give them access. So
For construction.
for construction, yeah, and he has another site that he submitted to the township to create a fill site up above here. We've not acted upon it yet because we were waiting on that information that he provided. So there is more to come up here, in terms of what Mr. Robinson wants to do with the property. And again, Gretchen can give her opinion, but I think that we cover ourselves. The note has been added to the plan already. So all we're waiting on is them to get approval from West Penn Power to work within this right of way, and they understand they have to get that. So that's the reason for the redo on the approval.
I thought West Penn Power owned that right away.
On
On the 79.
I believe that it's a right of, they have an overhead right of way. People use the word, people use right of way and easement synonymously, and they have different meanings depending upon how the way it's written. It's my understanding is that the applicant is allowed to do stuff underneath there subject to their rules and regulations. So they have to get West Penn Power to give them that approval to work under it.
Oh, Bill, who gave you the right of way in and out of there?
They don't own it fee simple.
Bill, who gave you the right of way to go in and out for salt blown?
Nobody.
For the salt up there.
I've never received formal approval from anybody, except that we have a good relationship with West Penn Power. We don't have a formal agreement with them. We've always maintained the roadway back into their substation. And for that, they provided us with a source of power at no charge to the township.
And the site
If
is
you go out there at night when Mark and Randy are out there operating their big trucks, it's like PNC Park up there. That's the kind of lighting they put in. And they provided us with a 220 outlet to put our block heater, or plug our block heater into our loader equipment. So it's just an exchange of services with West Penn Power right now. We don't have, as far as I know, any type of formal agreement.
Okay.
Hey, Ron, I got a question for the board. When Robinson was in here getting a permit to build them units, your solicitor and the board stated that I was not landlocked on the 2.5, about 3 acres that I own there. She made comment that I wasn't landlocked, that I wasn't entitled to the right-of-way that I had verbally agreed with my brother to enter my property. Robinson bought the property off my brother. Township didn't want to uphold or state that I could have a right-of-way through Robinson's property now that he owned it, and stated that my property was not landlocked, that I could go in off of that right-of-way. So I think she needs to answer that question.
So I think he's referring to the previous conditional use opinion that you all had the hearing on, and there was the issue of whether he was landlocked, and it was kind of a self-created situation, and that was a separate opinion. That was different than this particular situation, so that issue isn't an issue in this hearing, or the hearing that you all held last month.
I don't understand how it's not relevant. If I have right-of-way going in there, why wouldn't Robinson have it? In a township's using it, why wouldn't I have it? Why wouldn't Robinson have it?
So nothing about your decision last month spoke to legal right-of-ways and access. You know, we did a legal opinion as to what happened with the deed transfers and who has legal access. That had nothing to do with your decision last month's hearing.
Dan, Eric asked that, is it just for construction or?
He's gonna bring in heavy trucks that way for
I
the
mean,
landfill.
just for that, or to access that property later? As he builds his building?
There's no plans to do anything and access off it for like a public or anything.
Okay, I was just curious.
It's just construction, that's all that I've been told at this point.
And again, it has nothing to do with us. If he has to get a PennDOT permit, he will, he has to. It's on the plan, in other words.
That's correct.
So you're saying if I go to do anything on my property, I'm gonna have to get PennDOT approval? And if they say no, then that means I'm landlocked.
I think, I'm not trying to understand the question.
I think that's a legal
Dennis,
question, sir.
I think the same information that Mr. Robinson provided, I'm not sure if that applies to your property or not, but he provided a legal opinion that he had title to the driveway that touches the property, which comes off of South Point Boulevard. I'm not sure if your property has that same title. When PennDOT did the taking up there, did they grant access to your property also? He invested in a lawyer to do the research and give him an opinion, which he provided to the township, that says that he has legal access to the highway. Whether or not PennDOT says he can use it or not, that's a whole different subject. That's all we're talking about here tonight. And we're not even talking of this property that's in front of the board tonight, doesn't even touch that driveway. It just happens that Mr. Robinson owns the property adjoining, and he plans to use it to construct this site, so he doesn't come in through the little development there while he's building this. That's all we're talking about. So we're not really rendering any opinion on your property tonight or talking about that access at all, other than, you know, if he needs a permit, he needs a permit. That's all we're talking about. I can review it with you off the record. I can talk to you about it.